You mentioned earlier in the week, a couple of guys were week to week. You said Byro was day to day. Is there an update on the week?
Byro will be out tonight. Probably more precautionary. I think if this was a playoff game, he could likely be in, but considering it's game 5 of 72, we want to make sure he's fully healthy. He hasn't practiced, so instead of just having him test it in a pregame skate and then going, this allows him a practice today, a practice tomorrow, and make sure that he's ready to go for the weekend. Upper.
And then Savoy saw staying with a couple of guys this week. Are we able to
Savoy will play on right wing with Roseanne and Kulik.
How do those guys complement each other? I mean, obviously big first round picks, but how do each of them help the other?
We'll find out tonight. I mean, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, lines are interesting. They're usually written on a scratched piece of paper in the middle of the night when I wake up and just kind of start conjuring things. And I think that this guy might be a good fit with this guy for this reason. And sometimes it works and you look really smart, and sometimes it's horrible and you look really stupid. So I have no clue if they'll work together. They're all very good hockey players. Will they work as a threesome? I think the biggest thing with them, those three, is remind them you got to play defense. You got to play defense. When it's time to defend, defend. If they play great defense, they'll have the puck a lot, and then their offensive instincts and skill will take over. But if they don't, they'll be playing defense all night, and that won't be any fun.
Goaltenders in the face.
Well, our forwards are turning too many pucks over, and that's a little bit normal early in the season, especially with a really young group that we have up front. And that's not just our forwards. Our team is turning too many pucks over, and so that's one. And then it's a less a structural issue and more just understanding how to play the right way. Manage the puck. There's a fine line. You can't. I never want to be a coach that takes the puck out of my players' hands. And I think, we could have yelled at him the last 2 days and just told him they had to dump the puck every time, and we'd be better for it tonight, but we're not going to be better for it long term. And players need to make decisions in split second at game speed with resistance. And those are things we continue to work on in practice, and they have to take ownership of that. I'm never going to tell our players you just have to dump it in every time, because that doesn't make them a better hockey player.
You talk about playing with the puck, though. A lot of times I'll hear people say it's really hard to play without the puck. Are those some challenges you're seeing right now?
No, it's our puck play that's making us a bad defensive team. It's when you turn pucks over, you put your team in a spot that you're chasing the game. And two things: Laval won too many faceoffs against us, so our center's got to dig in and our side guys got to dig in. So that puts you playing defense. Then you turn pucks over, and now you're chasing. Instead of being in structure, you're out of structure. Anytime you turn a puck over, for the next 2-3 seconds, 4 seconds maybe even, you are out of structure and you're in scramble mode, because you were going this way and expecting the player to do this with the puck, and then they don't, and now you're not in structure. You're in scramble back and hopefully not give up a big chance. And then that gets you back in the D zone and it starts you spinning more. And so our D zone structure was way better last weekend than it was the week before. Now, some of it's also the teams we play. Laval puts up 40 against everybody. They had another 5-4 game against Belleville the next night. They had a 7-5 game against Abbotsford the weekend before. Like that's their style of play. So that's not excusing our poor defense and our poor puck management. That is what Laval does.
Opportunities for looking at 5 weeks. You normally can't play in the AHL, so it's unique kind of opportunity.
Well, it's just a great chance to play and to compete and have fun. It's unfortunate rule that if you're drafted out of junior, you can't play in the American League at this age, where Roseanne and Kulik and Paterka and those guys could. But that's the rule. And so you don't have a huge window, but you have a 2-week conditioning assignment. Unfortunately, our schedule aligns where that should be 6 games. And it's an opportunity for him to get 6 really high-level competitive games in before he has to either go back to Buffalo or go back to junior hockey.
How valuable just the hindsight, having those 2 games in May or whatever it was, just that little taste.
I think that it's very valuable. He's a worker and he's a student of the game. And just like Jack Quinn, like people, talk that year, like, well, he only got 18 games in a COVID year. How valuable is that really? It was extremely valuable. It gives players like Savoy and Quinn and guys like that, gives them intelligence. It gives them intel on how hard the league is, what are the challenges of the league, how much time and space do I not have or have, and then you go attack in your summer off season based on the intelligence you've gathered. Matt's a competitive enough guy and a smart enough guy to absorb some of those lessons in the short period of time he was with us in the playoffs, and then address those things in the off season and prepare for this season. I think what always stands out for me with Matt is his competitiveness and his pace of play. He plays fast and he competes and he stays on the puck, and so when you're a player that plays the pace he plays with the competitive level he plays with, he then dictates the play. He's a play driving type of player because of how much he stays on the puck. Shared responsibility. Kulik's listed as the center. But again, he's a 19-year-old center in the American Hockey League. That's not easy to do for any of them. So I had talked to Matt when he got assigned to us, and I asked him where he was most comfortable. Because I think that's, there's a bigger picture of what position will he play in the NHL. I don't have that answer, and that's not my answer to make. That's not my call to make. So it was, I think, more important, what are you most comfortable with? And he was comfortable with any of the 3 forward positions. If he would have told me center, his answer would have been, I'm most comfortable at center, I would have put him at center, and he wouldn't be playing with Kulik. So I think it was more important than who he plays with, that if he was a center, he'd probably be with Rusek. And if he was going to be a wing, I was thinking to put him with Kulik and Roseanne.
You tell Zanthi wants to get going next season. So he was, but he's got it.
Yeah, any competitor, and then he's a high-end competitor. He had readied himself all off season to try to make the Buffalo Sabres, and he came into rookie camp and he looked like he was on that mission. And then it got derailed, but that's part of it, right? That's part of the pro hockey experience. There's going to be injuries, there's going to be setbacks along the way, and you rehab, you get healthy, and then you take advantage of your next opportunity. And today is his next opportunity.
Is there a formal derotation?
There's a derotation right now. Yeah, there is. Is it formal? Somewhat. And we'll see how long it lasts. It's not going to be through the whole season, because usually these problems resolve themselves in terms of injuries, call-ups, whatever that is. But I have communicated with the guys how it's working right now, because I don't want. It's not a good situation. It's a good situation in how many good D we have, but it's not a good situation for them individually. And I think the best thing I can do for them is to be straightforward and honest, so they know what's going on. So they're not coming to the rink on game day wondering, am I out tonight or am I back in tonight? So we've laid out a plan, probably take us through the first 10 games or so. And then you reevaluate that plan. To me, plans aren't put in place that you have to stay to this plan the whole season. This is short term right now to make sure all the guys, majority of the guys, are getting the games they need to get, and then we'll continue to reevaluate. But we also have Zach Metza that is going to be in soon, because it's almost every day in practice that he rates out as one of our better players in practice on a consistent basis, and so that is going to make the competition even higher. And those are good problems to have, but they are problems a little bit in terms of guys that probably should be in the lineup.
The guys get it. Maybe they don't like what they're not afraid. guys
They understand the situation. I think they appreciate the honesty. They don't appreciate being out, right? That's just a reality. I think that's just the way I handle these types of all of these situations. I just am direct. I'm honest. I tell them exactly what's going on. And so I think that then at least they know and they appreciate that. But it's not a perfect situation. And so you just try to deal with it the best you can. And then you go from there.
As far as injuries, that you might have addressed these a little bit. Dustin is close.
He's getting there. Yeah, he's close. I mean, when that is, I don't know. He's skating. He'll actually be on the ice for the first time in a team skate this morning, a pregame skate. But everything up till today on the ice has been very controlled with just Seamus or Nick Craven in rehab skates. He is upper.
And
Linus is upper, probably 2-3 weeks, give or take.
That happened in the ball.
That happened in Laval on early second period on Friday night. Yeah, so that obviously hurt. He was off to a really good start to the season. He's played very good hockey for us.
Coach, going back to Matt, you talked about communication with your D, but with him, it's been pretty straightforward. You just talked about focusing on having fun this week. How important is it to have, I guess, kind of a disarming message that sort of neutralizes a lot of pressure that we talk about around?
Yeah, there's enough pressure that he's going to place on himself because he's a high achiever. There's enough pressure that's going to be from the outside and the noise. He doesn't need more from me, so hopefully I can lessen that and just make him excited, comfortable, welcoming environments, and put him in a place where he's excited to go play and be himself. And to me, that's what I want for all of our players. I want them to have the comfort to try to be the best versions of themselves. Well, you pointed out yesterday, Vinny met with them. Those are lessons that Vinny had to go through as a young player in his 3.5-year journey in the American League on his way to 1,100 NHL games. Is that sometimes just dumping the puck in or chipping it out is the right play. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. I put Kulik, Rosane, and Kisakov on the ice with under 40 seconds to go in the defensive zone in a 2-2 game in the first period in Laval on Friday. And they failed. I intentionally put them on the ice. Didn't really want to. It'd been a lot easier to put Jobst or Richards or, Murray or guys like that out there. But as many big moments as Kulik and Rosane were in last year, they weren't in as many big defensive moments because they were so young, right? And that's the next step of development is Rosene's getting a lot of penalty kill time right now, and he's doing a really good job with it. I intentionally put those three on the ice under a minute to go. If we would have got out of that first period 2-2, I think we win that game because they got 4 power plays in the first period. Everything went against us in the first, yet we almost got out 2-2. They turned the puck over and ended up in the back of our net. But the only way you get better is by learning and failing sometimes and then growing through that failure. That's development. Development isn't just putting them in great situations and them scoring and all going well. Development is adversity and failure and then willingness to grow through that failure.